So what is going on, guys? I am Black Ops Amazing. Welcome back to another zombies video on the channel, back with another Q&A where we take your questions from the comment section below to do with the zombie storyline, Easter eggs and more, and we answer them. So as always, if you enjoyed today's video, you know what to do. Drop a like, rate, and if you want to. If not, it's up to you guys. Make sure you are subscribed to stay up to date with the latest videos on the channel. But without further ado, let's get into it. Here we go. So the first question of today from Joe says, who are the original Marines in Nakda and Toten? So I have answered this question before, so I'm going to be quick. I notice a lot of people always ask this in the comments and get confused. I have done a full story of video on Nakda and Toten if you want to check it out. That will tell you the storyline of that map. But these four Marines are unknown. We don't have names for them. Obviously, in the remastered version of Nacht, we play as the Ultimus crew, Richtof and Takio, Nikolai and Dempsey. But originally, for our very first zombies map back in World at War, Nakda and Toten, we played as four Marines that we don't have names for. Obviously, during that time, Treyarch didn't have a plan to continue on with this zombies mode they had created. It was just a little project, a little fun game mode that they put in World at War. They didn't think it would go anywhere, and so no thought story-wise was really implemented back then, meaning the characters, everything in Nacht at that time didn't really have a storyline. Obviously, later on down the line, they've added a story for it, but as for the characters, they're just four Marines. Some people think that it's actually Dempsey and his crew, which is incorrect because they were in the original Verrucht. The storyline for Nacht is also pretty simple. Basically, it takes place in an abandoned airfield in German-occupied Europe. As a load of planes were flying over the airfield, one of them malfunctions and crashes into some German army trucks that were transporting Element 115 between Group 935 facilities. They weren't just transporting 115 though, they were also carrying the undead. The plane crashed into this truck, the 115 and the undead created a zombie outbreak in the airfield, and the four Marines that survived the crash, who we play as, had to hold out in this building that we play in. So there we go. The next question says, who are the ghosts in Blood of the Dead? So this is a good question. Blood of the Dead, or Alcatraz, is filled with ghosts from the past. Past prisoners or prison guards who have died in this prison are now ghosts. We see plenty of them. There are the ghosts or spirits that help you with the pack-a-punch that put it there. There are the ghosts that help you with part of the Easter egg. Of course, there's the bad ones as well that try to kill other ghosts. All of the ones that we see seem to have been past prisoners or guards that have died here. Of course, there's also the seagull as well, the blue bird that flies around the prison and helps us. Alcatraz is notorious for seagulls living there, making the island their home. There's also the spirit dogs as well. So all of these ghosts, I've said that so many times, that we see in Blood of the Dead are past people, prisoners, guards, or even animals that seem to have died here. And as we know, there are four inmates who we know very well that have died here, who was Sal, Finn, Billy, and Al from the original Mob of the Dead. They died in Alcatraz. They were killed by the Warden and the Shadow Man. And right at the end of the Blood of the Dead Easter egg, just as you're going into the laboratory and you're following the seagull, it's leading the way, the Warden, Brutus, suddenly appears in front of you and tries to stop you. He turns big, but before he can do anything, the ghosts of Alcatraz surround him, they grab him and pull him up into the air. They save you or help you. And Richtofen will say when he sees this, Sal, Finn, Al, that teensy seagull, the ghosts of Alcatraz have brought us time.
More ammo, please. Danke.
Pathetic fools! They will not be disobeyed!
Sal, Finn, Al, that teensy little seagull. The ghosts of Alcatraz have bought us the time.
So not only are these spirits random prisoners that have died, but right at the end of the Easter egg, we also see three inmates that we know very well, Sal, Finn and Al, they help Richtofen by removing Brutus out of their path. Of course it was Brutus that killed them, it was him that trapped them on this island in Purgatory. Sal, Finn and Al are trapped in an infinite loop on Alcatraz. With the Mob of the Dead Easter egg there was two different endings, either you could break the cycle or continue the cycle. We never actually knew which ending was canon, the Canorium doesn't tell us, but since we see them in blood, clearly they never managed to escape, and so still trapped on the island. We see them get revenge on Brutus for what he's done to them by lifting him up into the air and helping Richtofen. So there we go, the ghosts are people, prisoners, gods, animals that have died on this island, but not only random prisoners, we also see Sal, Finn and Al here as well. The next question says, in BO2 zombies, the eyes were blue, so Richtofen was in control, correct? But who's in control of the zombies now that their eyes are yellow? I'm confused. So the zombies' eyes originally in World at War Black Ops 1 were yellow. That was because Samantha was in control. As you said, they were blue in BO2 because Richtofen was in control. In BO3, again, it's a strange one because there were a few different colours. They were yellow, yet Samantha wasn't in control, so that wasn't to be explained. Again, in BO4, in our new storyline, the zombies' eyes are yellow. In Voyage of Despair and 9, we don't have an answer to that yet, or maybe there isn't one, we're not sure. In Classified, the zombies' eyes are yellow because Samantha is in control during that time. But then in maps like Blood of the Dead, Gorod Karovi, Mob of the Dead, and Revelations, the zombies' eyes are red, and we've never really had an explanation as to what the red eye colour means. But it was recently revealed to us that in Blood of the Dead, the Shadow Man has a lot to do with that. He was the one who, I think, created that reality, or is in control of that purgatory state that we see Blood of the Dead in. We know that the Shadow Man was the one manipulating the Warden. He turned the Warden into Brutus and came up with this whole plan not only to trap the original mobsters in Purgatory, but also to trap Primus Crew in Purgatory as well. So if the Shadow Man was to do with all of that in Blood of the Dead, possibly he is the reason behind the red-eyed zombies, and if that's the case, does that also explain Revelations? Because again, the Shadow Man is present in that map, the zombies' eyes are red. In the original Mob of the Dead, we know that the Shadow Man was behind that. Again, the zombies' eyes were red, and in Gorod Karovi, the zombies' eyes were red. However, in that map, we don't really hear anything from the Shadow Man. That's really the only anomaly, but you can see there's kind of a pattern. Whenever there's red-eyed zombies, the Shadow Man seems to have something to do with that map. So possibly, I'm thinking that actually, whenever we see this, it is something to do with the Shadow Man. Whether it means he's the controller in that map, I don't think that's the case, but he definitely shows up when the eye colour is red, so I think there's something going on there. The next question says, do you think that 4 zombies maps at launch was too much? Now, this is an interesting question. This is one I wanted to answer because obviously lately in the zombies community there's been quite a lot of negativity surrounding it. This is something that I've tried to stay away from, that I haven't made videos on complaining. Yes, I will admit there is problems of course with COD, with zombies, but we've still had an awful lot of content. Treyarch are clearly trying to fix things. We've had more content than previous games, even though there's issues. They know that, so for me there's no need to make a video every other day complaining. But as you say, is one of the leading factors behind this being that we had 4 zombies at launch, or 4 zombies maps. This is something we've never had before. The most we've had is 2, but to have 4, that is still an awful lot of work for them to do. Each one of them has an Easter egg, or at least an ending cutscene. There's a story to each map. There's a lot of work that's gone into them. Was 4 zombies maps at launch too much? I don't know about that, but I do think it kind of messed things up a little bit, just because, for one, the whole community was split on which map to do. Some people were focusing on one map, some people on another, and so when each cutscene was found, it was a little bit mixed up. We had one story being found, then another part to a different story. I think a better way to have done it would have been, yes, for all maps to release on day 1, however, each main Easter egg would have been unlocked 1 week after another. So over 4 weeks, once a week, a different map's Easter egg would have been locked, or maybe when one was found, the next one was available to find. And obviously 4 maps with each having their own story is a lot to take in. However, it doesn't actually feel like we've had that many Easter eggs, even though we've had 4 maps. Kind of feels like for Black Ops 3, when we had just 2, there was equally the same amount of Easter eggs, small or large, in those maps than there is with these 4. So I guess you could say yes, but you know what, you can never complain about having too much. But I do feel if they were spread out over time, it just wouldn't have been as much to take in at one time. But I'm not complaining. Also, I just want to say that part before there was recorded before Dead of the Night. I just never got around to putting that question into a video, so sorry that's a little bit late. But the state of zombies now that we've had DLC 1, now that it's been a little bit more time, is actually really good. There doesn't seem to be any glitches, any crashes. Treyarch seem to have fixed most things. DLC 1, Dead of the Night, is released. The only thing I'm going to say is they didn't promote that map, which is a shame because it's a really good map and it doesn't really seem like many people know about it or are interested in it. Probably because it's part of the Chaos story, which I will admit isn't as interesting, but it is getting quite juicy. And 2, again, because Treyarch didn't even release a single trailer for it. But Zombies is much better now, and it is a really good map to play. So anyway guys, there we go. That is it. That is all I have for you for today's video. As always, hopefully you have enjoyed. If you have, you know what to do. Drop a like rating only if you want to. If not, it's totally fine. Make sure you are subscribed to stay up to date with the latest videos on the channel. But as always, I will see you in the next one. Until then, goodbye.